we have a conflict of interest.
We may have a difference of opinions on this.
We might. Might we? All right. I know where we're going to agree at the surface level, but that there's some business level. Pretty much. Do you know how the government works, Francis, in America?
You got like how many hours?
Minutes.
How many?
About 8 minutes.
Yeah. Well, the current administration, you got 35 seconds.
Yeah.
Any other administration, you got a few hours.
Okay. Well, you got 3 branches of government, right?
Yes.
They're all supposed to keep each other in check.
Balances, check.
Allegedly.
Balances, yeah. Like this. Sean Spicer arrest.
So in this case, you know, you have the NBA, you have the players, and they're always kind of going back and forth because you have the players union who speaks on behalf of the players, you have the NBA, and by the way, you can't, unlike our government, you can't work in both departments.
Yeah.
I say that because like follow the money, but if you are a representative of the players union, you cannot work for the NBA. And if you are working for the NBA, you cannot work for the players union. I've actually had to sign a thing when I do before doing NBA, like the previews and game wraps. I had to sign that I officially work on behalf, even as a freelancer for the NBA. I cannot even take a meeting with.
So your basketball career is just out the window?
Well, no, I just can't be a player.
You got to tell the Clippers.
I can't.
That's what I mean.
Without completely severing ties with the contract.
And have they seen your
of the NBA?
Your 3-ball? This is unbelievable.
Yeah,
this is going to be a huge detriment to the Clippers.
Hey, better than Courtney Lee's right now. All right, so what I'm getting at here is that the NBA has a problem with rest. Adam Silver decided to send out a memo to the league saying, you know, you can't strategically rest players if there's not a legitimate reason to. It's actually a pretty hard checked memo. It's not as lenient as I thought it would be. It's not like it's not like Gary Cole in Office Space. Did you get the memo?
Yeah.
Move it off your desk. It was one that definitely gained the attention of the league. But in addition to that, there's also this thing, Francis, and it's let me see. I know I have my number straight. It's a 9-year, $24 billion TV deal. It went into effect this year. It's 180% increase in money every single year on top of each other. And why the rest issue comes up now? 6 of the last 8 nationally televised ABC games have seen major stars sit out, including the breaking point for Adam Silver, the Clippers and Cavs playing each other where the Cavs rested all their big 3. And then another game between the Warriors and Spurs where everybody was out. And I mean the whole team fucking here, man.
Jaja Pazulia was just carrying the weight of the game.
He ran point.
Yeah.
They were playing 3-on-4. That's because no one watched. It was actually pretty impressive. It was like, wow.
They just started taking players out.
So my question for you is, Adam Silver has a slight conflict of interest. People don't want to watch if it's March and Kawhi isn't going to go head-to-head with Steph, right? But this is also a growing issue with the idea that back-to-backs are a problem. It's a short season, 82 games. There's also the issue of the legends coming out and saying, I played all 82 games, it wasn't even a question. Like, we have a lot of different things. I follow the money from the business side and understand why Adam Silver does it. I also think ESPN's hiding a lot of shit, but I'll get into that later. I'm curious, how do you fix this?
I don't know if it is fixable. In my opinion, from my background, what I say to this is it's not the team's problem to deal with your ratings or to deal with the money that you put forward. That's my outlook on that, because teams don't care about who's watching if they're trying to plan for whether it's going to be the next game coming up or whether it's a game that's going to directly affect their seeding or if it's going to be playoffs in general. We literally just watched a season where the Golden State Warriors were maintaining their ratings in terms of games watched because the biggest and baddest players on their team were always out there. They got fatigued and they lost. And at the end of the season, if you're going to tell them, oh, how does that ratings feel? They'd be like, I don't give a shite because we don't have a ring to put on. So that's where I come from in regards to sports, is I've seen this several times. There's in world football, there's a lot of different tournaments going on, right? We literally seen last year Tottenham Hotspur. Sorry if you're a basketball fan and this doesn't sound familiar, but bear with me.
Basketball fans like
I'm sure Tottenham Hotspur rested the majority of their biggest players in a semi-final of the Europa League. against Borussia Dortmund.
What was the reaction?
They were like, we're going to focus on the league. We want the Premier League. And the fans were like, we understand it. Do you think the UEFA, like the Europa League, is going to be like, how dare you do that?
And they have
how dare you?
And in a similar vein, it's a similar issue.
They
had a. I'm assuming that's because they had a 2 days, 3 days later. They had a.
Yes, they had a big game, and it ended up turning out that they never won the Premier League. But I don't think a lot of fans.
And they
then they went out and they crashed out against Borussia Dortmund. So it might have been the quarterfinals actually.
Still the right idea.
But yeah, so the idea is that they have got their priorities. Teams have their priorities, and it should not involve business. It should, I mean, from the players themselves trying to win. Right. Of course, the front office, everyone else has got their priorities to uphold the business. But if you're going to tell LeBron James, let's look at this as the clearest example. They're going to be like, LeBron, we're going to need you to play tonight because you're playing the Mavs. Your seating's already sorted, but the ratings have been plummeting a little bit, LeBron. So we have to get you out there. He goes out, he gets injured, misses the playoffs. That happens.
You could always have the injury where, see, for me, it's just mileage, right? So a lot of people think, and look, I get the old school mentality, I get the idea, but if you're telling me at this point that there aren't the numbers that back this up, you think Greg Popovich, who has always been ahead of the curve his entire career, it's part of the reason what makes great coaches, they're thinking one step ahead. They're not thinking about Tim Duncan in his prime. He's thinking about how he's going to get championships out of Tim Duncan at 35.
Yeah.
Oh, and he did that, by the way, right? So the point here is, or part of the point of the 15-fold point, it's very pointy, piece of paper we're talking about. Is there's a lot of praise for Popovich, and he's been resting his starters since the early 2000s. But because the Spurs were never the brand of basketball that ABC, ESPN, TNT drooled over, it was more that I always take the Jenks stance on this. If you don't like watching the Spurs play basketball, you just don't like basketball at the level that the diehards do.
Yeah.
And that's fine because the ratings game is not for the diehard fans. The diehard fans do not mind watching Bucks versus Cavs on Sunday night. ESPN. But that's not going to get you a 12.8 or whatever, the 47 million households, right?
Yeah.
So it's a couple of problems all in one. For one, as Tyronn Lue has said, as Popovich has said, as Kerr has said, I'm sorry, ABC, but my goal is to win a championship, not put people on the couch.
Yeah.
And I understand also when you see the signs of the kids who fly cross country to see LeBron play and he's sitting. So maybe you be a little bit more transparent about that, so at least maybe you can sell your ticket or refund your plane ticket.
Yeah.
Or maybe the Cavaliers are responsible for paying that guy's ticket back. There's no easy answer to this. That's an absurd, by the way, idea. There's another part of it too. The schedule, the back-to-backs. We know the back-to-backs are a problem. The Warriors, by the way, played 5 games in 8 days. 5 games in 8 days in the middle of March. Here's what I need to tell you. March basketball is easily the toughest to sell. March, even early April. It's the end of the season. Playoff position
is going on.
You're competing with 18 days of the best buzzer-beating young, what's going to happen for the future of the NBA while watching these potential young stars. Playoff positioning, for the most part, is starting to take its place. You know if you're a 1 or a 2 or a 3 seed, or you know if you're a 6, 7, 8, or 9 seed at that point, or if you're going to be fighting for it, just fighting to get in. So why Adam Silver had to send this note is that ESPN and ABC are breathing down his neck. And I'm kind of surprised he cracked. Because I don't think Adam Silver, I don't think he minds. I really don't. Because this has been something that's been going on for years, and it's only become an issue because nationally televised games. And that has to do with money. So again, why I bring this back to, I think the NBA is going to make fine on this investment, or make fine on this deal, the TV deal. I think that ABC in itself will be fine because of the finals. You'll get your money back in the finals. ESPN is bleeding from it. They keep saying, cord cutting. We have to lay off our employees because people are cutting the cords. Do you know what the number I found yesterday was? Out of all the websites in sports, right, in terms of total time spent on the website as of the most recent compilation, second place is Yahoo Sports with 725 million minutes, right? It's a lot, right? ESPN has 4.9 billion. So I'm sorry, you guys struggling to find revenue? Maybe pivot. Maybe try the digital thing. Maybe not worry about, maybe stop worrying about making good on a bad investment with the NBA because it's not gonna help you down the road.
Yeah, it's still that cable TV, mainstream media bubble. That's still a lot of time spent.
If 4.9 billion minutes of people, I don't even know if that makes sense, watch this, I'd be drinking fucking Phil's coffee because I would own the goddamn building.
Don't say that dream and then take it away.
The CEO retweeted us.
I know, man.
And he was like,
Apparently,
cheers.
Apparently Steve's friends.
He said cheers.
Yeah, it might be.
Cheers, is he from
Or
Scotland?
maybe he just watches us and knows that there's a Scottish guy.
Does he know Phil's is spelled wrong? Z?
Yeah, Phil Z.
Phil's.
How many people out there do you think pronounce Phil Z? If you do, unfollow me from every platform.
My favorite is Stephen Merchant. Once, speaking of Z, he did a quick bit. It might have been on like the Jimmy Fallon's when he used to do the karaoke thing.
Yeah.
Lip sync battle.
Yeah, lip sync battle.
Before it was like a show. Stephen Merchant goes up there, he's like, my next piece is by Beyonce Z. And Jimmy's like, I don't think you need the last name. He's like, oh, okay, my bad. Beyonce Z.
That's pretty funny.
Phil Z.
Phil
Related
Z,
to Jay-Z.
best coffee ever, by the way.
Francis,
Don't care about shameless plugs.
It's either fix the schedule,
Reduce the games.
reduce the games, which by the way would cost money. It would hurt. That's why they want to do it. If they added a week. Silver did make one big thing is they shortened the preseason going into next year. And there's one extra full week, which does eliminate like I think 2 back-to-backs per team. But there's still a lot of them, man. I do the previews all the time. And I always write when I see those schedules and I see Jazz Clippers Sunday and then Jazz, Lakers Monday. Because the Jazz aren't in LA all the time. They got to smash into the Staples Center to get those series done. It's 82 games. Maybe, I actually think 76 would be enough cutback to really help. 66,
I would still tune in.
66 game season would be perfect.
I'd still tune in for about 75% of those games.
Perfect. How much money does the soccer ball make? They only play, what, 38 games in the
A
Premier League?
lot of
I mean,
money.
more with the tournaments, but we could add 38 games, add some tournaments.
Home and aways.
Oh!
Just have each team play each other twice.
We can
Why do you have to play each other like 25
we can
times?
relegate teams.
Relegate.
No, we can't. That means the Knicks would be in college basketball. I don't want to go and play college ball.
That's so
We
funny.
don't need relegation. We don't need relegation. All right, comment below. I'm going to shamelessly promote myself. There's an article coming out either through the TYT Network Medium or Huffington Post or wherever to tell the side. I wonder if anybody wants to buy it, by all means. I'll sell out.
Do it.
At Francis_Maxwell. At JaceRubin91. You've been watching TYT Sports. We hope you enjoy it.